Tom Brady. We know he's locked in as a starter for the Super Bowl champion Bucks, but he still reached out to quarterback Kyle Trask, who was drafted in the second round of this previous draft. Now, Brady said that he wanted to get together and throw the ball with Trask as soon as Trask gets to Tampa. I got to bring in Malcolm Jenkins, 13 years NFL vet added up. Plus, my brother Sam Acho, you got 26 years of NFL experience about to have this conversation, and I only provided 4. Nonetheless, when I look at it, fellas, I'm trying to figure out what responsibility do veterans have to play, or what responsibility do veterans have to show their rookies? Think about this. Ben Roethlisberger, we all know when a quarterback gets drafted behind him, no love. Aaron Rodgers, when a quarterback, Jordan Love, gets drafted behind him, he went and drank. But Tom Brady, quarterback gets drafted behind him, and he's like, hey, let's throw this weekend. Let's throw as soon as you get in town. I want to help you get better. CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, if a president gets hired, they're not trying to help him take their job. College university presidents, if a vice president gets hired that's younger, maybe better educated, maybe has a higher resume, higher acumen, pedigree, the president of that university isn't trying to help the vice president take his job. But why in the world is there an expectation that if you are a veteran and a rookie comes in after you in the NFL, you have to help that rookie develop? You have to help that rookie replace you. In the NFL, the window is small, regardless of careers like Malcolm Jenkins, 13 years, my brother, 9 years. The average NFL career is only 3 years. So why would I ever help you take my job? It makes no sense to me, but I wanted to bring in this astute panel of NFL veterans to have this conversation. So, Jenkins, what responsibility do vets have to support rookies?
Yeah, I don't think veterans have any responsibility, to help rookies. Every year, you have a cohort of rookies that are coming in to take people's jobs. As soon as you come in, the teams are trying to replace you. But I think what you see is it depends on who that player is. Tom Brady, they can draft a quarterback behind him. It's Tom Brady's job, and everybody knows that, right? He's not giving that up until he retires, until he hands that over. So there's no pressure, right, as to his job security. And when veterans have that, they don't have that pressure, they tend to be team focused and be worrying about how do I make the team the best possible to give us the best chance. I've done the same thing before. Whenever I felt like my job is not in danger, I'll help every single player on the roster because I'm secure in my role, and I want to make us a team. But you've seen it in other situations where if you're bringing in somebody to replace you in the near future, you're in competition mode at that point. You're not giving out all your secrets. You're trying to secure your job, and then we can be teammates and learn as we go.
Gene, take me back to 2009, I believe is your rookie year, first round pick. Whose job were you taking? Because if you're a first round pick, you taking somebody's job. Whose job were you taking, and did the vets help you take their job in theory?
Yeah, I didn't take anybody's job. That was the thing with me. I was a first-round pick, drafted 14th overall, and in front of me you had Jabari Greer, Tracy Porter, and Randall Gay, who was the slot corner, long-term veteran in the league. And so I came in the first 4 or 5 weeks had to play special teams. And it wasn't until a couple of injuries that I got my opportunity. The next year, my second season, I changed positions from corner to safety to deal with some of the things that we were doing. I think Darren Sharper was on PUP that year, and that was my opportunity to get into the roster at that point by changing my position. And when I did that, there was a little less tips that I was getting from some of the older guys. But now corner is all good, right? They'll give you everything. But when you're competing for your job, you got to compete. And once you get into the season, it's all about winning. But right now in the offseason, if you bring in somebody to replace my job in the next two or 3 years, I'm in compete mode. I'm keeping all of my secrets tight to the vest.
Now, Sam, let's talk about it, because I remember watching you were behind Joey Porter your rookie year, and I think he actually gave you some tidbits. You end up being second all-time rookie sack record in the Cardinals' history. So what's really good as it pertains to the responsibility of veterans supporting rookies?
Yeah, well, Joey Porter, we called him Peasy. He wasn't giving me not one tidbit because I was coming for his spot. I was playing right outside linebacker at that time. We had another guy named Clark Hagans playing left outside linebacker. So I was helping. Clark was helping me out. Peasy was staying far, far away. I'll never forget the story. And I was born in '88. I'm rookie. I see this dude, Joey Porter, and I'm trying to be friends with him. It's my guy. Like, I'm the rookie. You're the 10-year vet, probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. And he was in the hot tub. I'm thinking, okay, it's a hot tub, it's a cold tub, what do I do? And I kind of just tiptoed in, just said, hey, Peasy, trying to get some tips. And I realized he wasn't, trying to talk, very standoffish. And I said, hey, what? He had a tattoo that says 75 on it. I'm thinking, okay, is that like your number of sacks, whatever? I said, tell me about this tattoo. He said, well, that's the year I was born. I said, oh, okay, we are different levels. You're trying to do something. You have a wife, a kid, you have everything that you're trying to handle. And so Peasy was giving me no tips. So I realized I had to get it on my own. And like we saw with Malcolm, I was on teams for 4 or 5 years, special teams for 4 or 5 weeks, excuse me. And so I sat out and learned it myself. But when I became older, I said, I want to pour back into the other players. So I remember when I was in 2016 or 15 or so, we drafted Leonard Floyd in Chicago, outside linebacker. I tried to give him tips because I wanted him to be better. I wanted our team to be better. I knew I'd have a role on that team, but I wanted to help Leonard. But one last piece, because everyone's different. So the thing is, you got to be available, but not overly available. 2013, new coach, new training staff in Arizona. We bring in a guy, Lorenzo Alexander, a great friend of mine. We're still friends to this day. Zoe was not giving me one piece of advice at all. He had made the Pro Bowl, nothing. I'm like, Zoe, what's up? And after a year or two, we got closer. He said, hey, Sam, I'm not going to give you an opportunity to take my job. I came in for the job. I'm not going to help you take my job. And so I've been on both sides of the fence. I tend to lead on the side of, hey, let me help everybody out. But I get it. I'm not going to give you a chance to take my job.
See, I think it's twofold. And Jink, you said something that stuck with me. If you know your job is safe, then you can give up tips. If you know you're getting replaced, then you can give up tips. But if there's any gray area in between, you can't do it. Me and Jenkins played together 2 or 3 years in Philly. DeMeco Ryans was set as the starter, current defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. DeMeco was a dude. DeMeco helped everybody and they mama out. If you wanted to know what we was doing with the defense, he would tell you. If you wanted to know about the hook drop, the curl drop, how he was making the call, he would tell you. Because DeMeco was not going anywhere. But there are definitely situations when you got like the second and the third guy scrapping where it's really, hey, I can't really tell you nothing. I ain't got nothing to tell you. Now, Sam, you knew you were getting replaced by Khalil Mack because Khalil Mack is, well, Khalil Mack. You just straight up helped him out, correct?
Absolutely. Well, so that was the thing. My job had been taken before. So I know that this job is cyclical. You come in and you leave. You come in and you leave. Like we talked earlier, everyone can be replaced. And so when Khalil came in, my job essentially was to help Khalil learn the defense. Mind you, let's not forget, we traded for him after the preseason had already ended. So we were getting ready to play the Green Bay Packers. I was with the Chicago Bears. We were playing them in about 8 days. Khalil had no idea what the defense was. And so not only was I sitting next to him helping him with the defense, but also he was getting all the reps. There was no more second team reps, third team reps. Khalil was getting all the reps because he needed those reps for the season. And so I had no issue with that because, once again, my mindset was on how can we make the team better? And that year, our team went to the playoffs. And so, yes, if you're in that middle ground like I was back in Arizona, you're not giving any tips. But as you know where your position is, you know where you stand, you're going to probably be more available.
Now, Jenkins, you haven't missed a start since 2014, but you did commit the NFL cardinal sin of being over 30 years old. So now anybody over 30 is not safe. They just aren't. It don't matter how good you are. Unless you're a quarterback, you're not safe. I guess, how do you approach it now? You haven't missed a start in 7 years. You've won 2 Super Bowls. You've accomplished everything. You still balling. But how do you approach it now? Because they're always looking to replace you.
Yeah, I think one of the best lessons I learned early in my career, and you've heard the cliche, the more that you can do, the longer you play in this league, right? And so when I was drafted as a corner and learned very quickly that if I wanted to play corner alone in this league, I probably wouldn't have a long career, right? And so I learned how to play almost every position on the defense. And so even if they bring in, new guys or younger guys to play safety, these players can't do all the things that I'm doing, which gives me a lot more security. And it also helps me